Welcome to The Explainer. We're diving right into a topic that could completely reshape global finance, China's digital currency, the ECNY. We're going to break down what it is, why it's such a game changer, and, well, the surprising ways you might get some financial exposure.
Okay, let's just cut right to the chase. The question on everyone's mind is pretty simple. Can you actually go out and buy this thing?
Well, the answer is not really. At least, not in the way you're probably thinking. See, this isn't some new crypto you're going to find listed on your favorite exchange. It's a completely different beast.
Okay, so let's get into the weeds a bit. To really understand the investment angle here, you first have to get a handle on what the ECNY actually is, and maybe more importantly, what it isn't.
So, the ECNY is what's known as a central bank digital currency, or CBDC for short. Now, what does that mean? Basically, think of it as official government-issued money just in a digital format. It's fully backed and controlled by China's central bank, which, let me tell you, is a world away from how something like Bitcoin works.
And this chart really spells it out, right? On one side, you have the ECNY backed by a central bank. That makes its value stable. It's pegged one-to-one with the physical yuan. Its whole purpose is for payments, like buying a coffee. On the other side, you've got your typical cryptocurrencies. They're decentralized, their value is all over the place, and honestly, they're mostly used as a speculative asset. So the main takeaway here is pretty simple. You are not going to be trading the ECNY on Binance or Coinbase hoping it'll moon. The best way to think about it is just digital cash. It's the digital version of the bills and coins that might be in your wallet right now. Okay, so if you can't speculate on it, why are we even talking about this? Why is it such a big deal? Well, this is where we need to zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because the ECNY is a major piece in a huge global strategy. You see, the ECNY isn't just about making payments easier. Not at all. It's a key piece in a massive geopolitical chess game. China is very strategically building a whole new set of financial rails for the world. The goal? To rely less on the US dollar and the traditional SWIFT payment system. And this new system is really appealing to countries that are trying to get around US sanctions.
And when you compare the old system to the new one, the advantages are just obvious. We're talking about projects like SIPS and Enbridge built on this new tech. They can settle payments between countries in seconds, not days. They're cheaper because they cut out the middlemen. And this is the really crucial part, they operate completely outside of the US system's influence.
And that quote right there really hits the nail on the head. These new financial rails, they're not just a tech upgrade, they are a fundamental challenge to the way global trade and finance has worked for decades. And that right there is why everyone is paying such close attention.
All right, so that brings us right back to our original question. If you can't just buy the ECNY directly, how can you, as an investor, get a piece of this massive shift?
Here's the secret. The play isn't in the currency itself. Forget about that. Since you can't invest directly, the smart money is looking at the entire ecosystem, the huge web of companies that are building, distributing, and plugging the digital yuan into the economy.
So, how does that actually work? It's pretty straightforward, really. We can break it down into 3 steps. First, you've got to identify the key companies that are making this all happen. Second, you can invest in their stocks, or maybe in ETFs that bundle them together. And third, you just need to pick the right platform to do it on. So, let's start with area number 1, the banks. We're talking about the absolute giants here, like ICBC and the Bank of China. These guys are on the front lines. They're the main arteries pumping this new digital money out into the world, and they're the ones testing it out for big cross-border deals. Okay, next up, investment area number 2, the fintechs. You know these names. We're talking about Ant Group's Alipay and Tencent's WeChat Pay. These 2 platforms already run the entire digital payment world in China, so they are absolutely essential for getting the ECNY into the hands of billions of people for their everyday shopping.
Then you've got Area 3, the infrastructure players. These are the companies building the nuts and bolts of the whole system. Think of someone like UnionPay, which provides all the payment terminals and stores, or a company like Huawei, which is developing the hardware and the telecom networks that make this whole thing run.
And finally, if you're someone who doesn't want to pick individual stocks, there's always the diversified route, ETFs. You've got funds like KWeb, which is focused on China's internet companies, or FXI, which covers the biggest Chinese companies overall. These give you broad exposure to a whole bunch of these key players with just one investment.
All right, we're on the home stretch. Let's talk about that third and final step. Where can you actually buy these assets? Especially if you're not in China. You need a platform that's safe, reliable, and gives you access.
So, there are a few
big regulated platforms you can look at. Interactive Brokers, for example, is fantastic for getting direct access to stocks listed in Hong Kong. Then you've got places like Fidelity, which are perfect for buying those US-listed ETFs like KWEB and FXI, and then there are platforms like eToro, which can be great for buying fractional shares or things called ADRs, which are basically just an easy way to invest in foreign companies on a US stock exchange.
You know, no matter which platform or which investment you pick, the crucial point is this: stick with a regulated, widely used platform. This isn't a short-term gamble, it's a long-term strategy. So making sure your money is safe and secure is absolutely essential.
All right, let's bring it all together. What are the key things you need to walk away with from this explainer?
Okay, so in a nutshell, number one, the ECNY is sovereign money, it's digital cash, it is not a speculative crypto. Number two, it's a huge piece of a geopolitical strategy to challenge the US dollar's dominance. And number three, the real investment opportunity is indirect. You've got to look at the ecosystem of banks, fintechs, and infrastructure companies.
And that really leaves us with one last big question to think about. You know, China is leading the pack right now, but they are not going to be the only ones playing this game. As more and more countries start rolling out their own digital currencies, we are literally watching a new chapter of global finance get written. So the real question isn't just about China, it's which ecosystems are you going to be watching?